Hey, speaking of war criminals, great segue there, Ross. Let's pour out another drink for the passing of one Dick Cheney this week. So the former vice president, who was nominally second in command to George W. Bush, but widely regarded as the brains behind the previous worst presidency in American history, died Monday from complications of pneumonia, cardiac, and vascular disease. He was 84 years old, but really came off as like 106. He was an old 84. Cheney, who led the charge to invade Iraq on false pretenses, was reviled by much of the country, who saw the oil man and defense contractor profit wildly from the illegal war. Now, in later life, Cheney, who had also served as Secretary of Defense under the elder President Bush, was a staunch critic of Donald Trump's authoritarian and anti-democratic impulses, though it should be noted that Cheney brought the unitary executive theory, the legal concept that the president has complete direct control over the entirety of the executive branch, into the popular consciousness. It is this very doctrine that Trump has used to expand his power beyond modern constitutional limits. Leslie, am I wrong for speaking ill of the dead and pouring out a drink for the passing of Mr. Cheney?
I wouldn't say you're entirely wrong. I mean, we are suffering from all the bad things that the Iraq War brought. All those pallets, remember the pallets of money, all the, it really hurt us financially as a country. It didn't really do that much to, they tried to say, oh, goodwill and everything, but there was a lot of lies there, right? A lot of lies. And power corrupts. And right now, then, he wanted the unitary power, but okay, we're going to wield it well. But did they really wield it well? And then somebody is wielding it worse. And then he says, oh, maybe we made a mistake. Yeah, the mistake was the unitary power in the first place. And just this cowboy, I know what I'm doing. I'm from the West, and, boom, 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 we're going to shoot him up. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's time to just put that to rest and be a real democracy and join the sane nations, regain the sane nations. Rejoin.
Ross, I have a theory, and it's that this country kind of you can trace the line from Obama taking power in 2009 and saying we're not going to look back, and failing to hold the war criminals of the Bush administration responsible. You can draw that line straight to Trump now, where it's like, oh, we're just doing illegal shit and we can get away with it. I don't know. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, look, I absolutely. I think that has always been a mistake. The political consultant class telling people, hey, don't focus on the past, focus on the future. Let's not talk about the past when the past. Look, what happens in Germany if you don't have Nuremberg trials? A lot of those guys walk out and join the Munich City Council. That's what happens.
Or NASA.
Yeah, well, not you, but those guys weren't tried at Nuremberg. Those guys were paperclipped.
They were useful, right?
Yes, to the United States. But if you don't hold anyone accountable, obviously no one is going to learn from their own mistake and say, boy, I hope we never do that again. That never happens. So absolutely, it was a mistake not to hold them accountable. I think it's kind of funny that a guy like Cheney gets credit for not being a Trumpist, to not being a full-blown fascist, like out loud fascist. And I guess that somehow rehabilitates him along with his daughter, that, hey, at least you didn't go along with what the terrible people did. But, well, that's a pretty low bar, and it certainly doesn't take away. You're exactly right. Look, the unitary executive theory of of Dick Cheney and John Yoo and all of the people in the Bush administration is a direct line to the people in Trump's administration saying if the president does it, as Nixon famously said, it's not illegal. And so we can really do whatever we want. And I've said many, many times, our courts do not have an army. So much of our legal system is based on respect and norms that um, that can go away. We respect legal rulings because that is what we do, not really because we have to. And that's the scary thing, is that judges can say this is illegal, but much like Wyatt Earp in Tombstone. If Wyatt Earp says, "I don't think I'm going to let you arrest me today," and he walks off, well, there goes the rule of law. So, yeah, Cheney, I don't look. I guess there's some credit for not being a complete fascist during the Trump administration, but he's responsible for a lot more dead people than Trump. That's for damn sure.
So far.
Well,
I mean, Leslie, what do you make of the late in life Cheney face turn? I'm of the opinion that if the Cheneys, Dick, Liz, Lon, whoever, really, if they really wanted to see Kamala Harris win in 2024 last year, the best thing they could have done was shut up.
Yeah, possibly. I think that perhaps Dick Cheney later in life had time to reflect, and maybe I do think sometimes power is like sharks at a feeding frenzy, and having all that power it can be very corrupting. And so just coming up with rationalizations for all the bad decisions that they make, but then later in life reflecting, and then maybe he's obviously a smart guy and maybe did spend some time going, oh, wow, these are the things that happened. But you're right. It's about holding people accountable. And I think, unfortunately, sociopaths and psychopaths, if you don't hold them accountable, they just go, great. I can just keep on criming and keep on doing this. And, it fawns all
Yeah.
over them and they don't learn anything. And I think that's part of the problem, is that we have fawned over people in power for far too long. And these people who are doing these horrible things, they should not be enjoying peace of mind when they go out to restaurants or the theater or church or somewhere. People, they should not be
Hunting with
held
their
up.
best friend, or yeah. Let's hear it for the guy that shot Dick Cheney in the face, by the way.
No,
Dick Cheney
shot
Oh no,
the
Dick
guy
Cheney
in
shot
the
him in the face, and then
then he
he had to
apologized.
apologize for being in Dick Cheney's way. Yes. Oh man, yeah. Here's the thing about these folks, like Cheney, like Mike Pence, for example. Like, listen, I'm glad you didn't drive down Fascism Avenue, but you paved it, man. And I don't think you get any credit for that.